You gonna bust out laughing. What up, what up, what up? This the Halfway Humble Podcast, as well as Speaker Geekers in the building. There they go. I'm Jay Stamps.
And I'm Jay.
Oh, I forgot to do this when he talks.
Hey, don't my name come up as Jay?
Yeah, it actually does.
It does.
Yeah, you ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to hold the question mark up, man. It's fine.
Okay.
They know about me in these streets.
We can't see you. Nobody can see you right now, but I still love you. I'm gonna get him out there. He got to be the difficult one.
Shut up, man.
But this is a cross-platform, cross-show, cross-brand episode, and I'm gonna go ahead and let the other two brothers from Speaker Geekers introduce themselves.
Yeah.
What up, man? This is your boy Steve-O Steve.
And your boy Tommy T, man. The other half of the Derby Boys.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. We in the building.
This is gonna be good.
Right.
This
Absolutely.
is gonna be good.
This is about to be hilarious.
Funny. Man, so how we starting this thing, man? How y'all doing, first off?
I'm tired. I'm ready for the weekend. I'm ready for vacation.
Yeah.
I got a lot going on. It's just been, and I'm tired of spending money. Can anybody relate to that? I'm tired of spending money.
Yeah, I've been feeling like we've been spending a nice amount of money, man.
Yeah.
Kids need to go back to school.
Man.
Like Boosie said, kids got to go back to school, man.
I just got back in the game of getting income, and I'm already tired of spending money.
Man.
Like I can't keep nothing on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, my pocket's been bleeding since August of last year.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why my 8-year-old stay up at night like he grown. Like he be up till 1 a.m. talking about you good.
Man,
I'll be like,
you are not the only one. You are not the only one.
I know, yeah. I'm about to say, I already know you can relate.
Man, be like 9 o'clock. Hey, Dad, can we play some Mortal Kombat? I'm like, all right, let's roll. It be almost 2 o'clock in the morning.
Man.
Hey, the other night I got my first solo Fortnite win. Me and him set up here and celebrated like we was like I won the Super Bowl or something, man. I'm so happy.
Man, hey. you actually won on Fortnite. I won't even play that much. Like I know they be coming for your head on that game.
Yeah, I never played it.
His roof was it's fun.
Hey, he been serving me on that UFC. We got the UFC joint. And he was tearing me up. I was getting on the game like, man, I'm finna whoop this boy. He don't know what he doing, man. I walked up in there. He knocked me out within 2 punches with Rampage. Then he did the, ooh, I said. I was sitting there looking.
He used Rampage, too. Hey, shout outs to Rampage, man. Rampage Jackson, man. Hey, that's my dog.
That's too funny, man.
It's funny, too, because you be like, can you really get mad at your son when he start talking junk to you? It's like I kind of want to fire on him. Then I'm like, I can't really just hit him like that.
Hey,
we like move the tape.
I feel your pain. I feel
he looked at me. He said, "What happened, Daddy? You good? What happened?" I was staring at him like. But nah, man. So, what's going on in news today? I mean, this week, did y'all see DL this weekend? DL Hughley.
Yes.
Yeah, got that.
I didn't see the video. I was like,
you gotta see the video. And I love DL, but I was like, and the crazy thing was, I was tripping that they were already starting to open venues like Zanies for comedians to come and do a show. I was like, we still in the midst of this new normal or whatever. And he got the okay to go perform. And I just seen him on another platform. He was on Vlad TV and he was talking about Corona and being safe and all that. Then he gets up there and he talks for the first couple of minutes. You understand what he's saying, but then his words start to slur. His words slur and everybody's like, what? In the video. And then all of a sudden you see him kind of lean like this a little bit. And then he just like about to fall over and dude runs up and catches him. And I'm like, oh
no,
man.
And it was all on video.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's rough. Yeah, I haven't seen the video, but I was surprised too. But
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the new normal. But as you see, everybody trying to open up as quick as possible. So
I know.
Yeah. Just need that paper, baby. Trying to survive
out
here,
man.
man.
That's what it is. Trying to get paid.
These young bulls out here.
Yeah, right.
Trying to get the paper for the young bulls. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh, my bad. Say something else, Joe.
Shut up, Stamps. Just because I'm ugly, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to show my face on camera.
Nah, that's a lot more people out here zooming than you. Trust me. We see.
Oh,
yeah. You know, I don't like cameras. Cameras make me nervous, man.
Nah, I hear you.
This guy. Nah, man. So let me ask y'all this. Do you think that is there a light at the end of the tunnel right now for this corona thing? Do you guys see it going away or going or you think these masks and stuff here to stay? What do y'all think?
Oh no, it ain't here to stay.
Yeah, no.
Like people at the point now, they tired of it. They just doing what they want to do. My homeboys came back from Florida and they was like, man, it's wide open down there. Like the restaurants, they're not even wearing masks down there. It's just wide open. Folks just doing what they want to do. I think
they said it's over. It's like, hey, forget it. We gotta get this bread, man. Like we tired, man.
And I don't. It's been kind of
3 months.
Man.
I'm good.
Right. I am perfect. Like, man, it's been interesting because like they don't really talk about the deaths anymore like they did at the very beginning. And I think I actually saw an interview and they was talking about it in Florida, and they had an older guy who talked, and he was like, yeah, I'm wearing my mask, man. I'm protecting myself. I'm about to turn 60. And then they interviewed some, some like young white girls, and they were like, and what they said was that they asked them, did they care? And basically they was like, no, we're not really worried about it. So it's going to be interesting, man, because I think they just I think people tired of it, and,
Yeah, I feel the same way. And then if you if you look at it, you can't trust the numbers, man. You can Google anything right now. Put in a 3-digit number, and then put in new cases, and there will be an article that comes up with that number of new cases somewhere. So, like, if you put in 335 new cases, there will be an article that shows up in Google that says Florida with 335 new cases of coronavirus. Like, it's the craziest thing. I was just like, so nobody notices that? Like, nobody gonna say nothing about that. So you really don't know where to go with that. You don't know what numbers to believe. You don't know how many people are really dying of COVID-19. You don't know the real death toll. I think it's something out there. But you cannot trust the news or the mainstream media, because for all we know, it could be something else that they try and cover up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, this could be a biblical plague. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know. You know what I mean? And you cannot trust mainstream media on none of that.
Yeah.
Yo, y'all hear about the sand that's supposed to be coming across?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the dust storm.
The dust storm.
Yeah, the dust storm.
In Africa. But it's keeping the hurricanes away, which I'm trying to figure out how that works.
Right.
I guess the dust with the wind and the particles, and they just, that's what they it evaporates the wind and assimilates into the background, therefore exacerbating the molecule. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
not be up there.
Be some type of be like, that sound. That makes sense.
They need to let T.I. explain that. It won't even matter no more. T.I.
just gonna say he's indubitably flabbergasted, and that's all he gonna say. You know what I mean?
He's gonna say a couple of $800 words, and everybody gonna be like, okay,
that makes sense.
Okay,
he's so smart. He's so intelligent.
Oh my goodness, it's amazing.
Oh man, but Corona is I don't know, man. I have my thoughts in it. Like, I kind of stated it before, as far as two things are written: our birth date and our death date.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, you can do everything you want to do, and at the end of the day, your checkout time is your checkout time. I'm not saying you don't need to give your, it's how you live, but you don't control how long you live. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So I'm not tripping.
My take on it, man. Shoot, they say stay in the house. I'm prepared. I enjoy the house.
Man, telling you, I'm introverted like a mug.
Man, I stay here all day.
I love it.
Right.
Man,
that's why I'm hooked. That's why I'm hooked on this Fortnite now. My son finally got me on it, and I've been playing it since.
Man,
having fun.
Shoot, stay in the house.
Nothing wrong with that.
But that's the thing, though, man. I don't like being sick. So if anything was like, you could get this, well, I'm gonna take the precaution not to. So I'm gonna wear my mask and all that stuff. But I ain't gonna be sitting up there trying to cough on nobody. Like, mama, I ain't trying to get sick, man.
I just think it's like, it's one of them things like, I can appreciate somebody taking precautions and all of that.
Yeah.
I think that's cool, but at the same time, you got to be careful of the message, because it's just like, it's like you don't. So now all of a sudden we don't trust our own immune systems to fight off germs and bacteria and potential viruses and stuff like that. Especially, I mean, you got to do your due diligence to eat right and make sure that you putting the right stuff in your body or whatever. But the way that the news is portraying it, it's like you ain't got, your immune system stands no chance. You know what I mean? When literally when you stepping outside, your immune system is kicking in and fighting stuff every single day that you don't know about. That's why you aren't sick most of the time, because your immune system is working properly the way that it should. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. And I mean, it's like you said, it's just use common sense. Don't be around here licking doorknobs and stuff. You be all right.
You got people licking toilet seats.
You know, they touching stuff, licking their hand. Like, what are you doing?
Wash your hands.
Absolutely, man. There's a whole bunch of like stuff we learned in kindergarten.
I ain't gonna lie though, man. It's like, you do things like, I was always a neat freak and a germaphobe to an extent. So it was like I was constantly hand sanitizing, washing my hands and stuff like that. But people are nasty. So, so it's like a virus that's airborne from germs, flu-like. Yeah, I expected that to happen. So, I just try to chill at the house as much as possible and go outside when I need to. Other than that, man, shoot. This business as usual.
Just live. Yeah, just live. Like, basically. I mean, like I said, just live. Like you said, take the precautions, keep sanitizing the car, keep it moving, man. But it was one of the funniest things. I was at Walmart and I seen the guy where I'm walking in Walmart now. I got the mask. I'm not wearing no mask in there, but I'm in and out and I'm not touching everybody. I'm getting what I'm getting and I'm out. I seen a guy in there, older guy, so he got the mask on, but he literally got these yellow wash dishes type gloves on, the old school joints. He got them on. He got a little shirt on. And he's like walking in the store, and like I was kind of back staring at him like this. I was like, oh, look at this dude. And he's trying to not touch stuff, and he's like kind of like shaking. I'm like, see, you should have just did an Amazon order.
Right. He need to invest in Amazon Prime.
Right. Just get Prime. Like,
he thinking too much. He gonna mess around. He gonna be like, shoot, what do I do? Gonna rub his head and gonna be sick tomorrow. Gonna be like, bruh, just take your time, man. Just relax.
And the mental thing is a stressor too. So if you keep putting that stuff in your head, and you'll make yourself sick that way too. Yeah. People don't get that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And people don't understand how the body really works. You know what I mean? And honestly, I mean, I won't go into it on this podcast, but we might need to start rethinking the way viruses actually work. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's just a lot of stuff that we've been taught about how viruses work and how things work as far as anatomy is concerned with the body that aren't necessarily true. And then when you hear it the other way for the first time, it's just like, if you have an open enough mind, it's like, oh, that kind of makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought about it like that. So I think more so than anything else it's mainstream media is having people walk around in a constant state of fear. And it's bad. And if you can see things alternatively, I think you'll be all right. Mm-hmm. But it's the people that's walking around in a constant state of fear that's more in trouble than anybody else, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. That's when you're gonna make your most mistakes.
That's it, right.
You're overthinking it.
Facts, yeah. I mean, you going solely off of emotional judgment, which is, come on, man. We all know, like, logic beats emotion 9 times out of 10 at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's deep. Look at that boy dropping them jewels, boy. Go ahead, drop them jewels.
Facts. Gems, baby. Gems.
Oh, man. So I think too, the other thing and we kind of touched on it before we got on here, was financials. So spending money. Like I'm venturing into the real estate game. Steve's already in it, so he knows how it goes. And so that's another thing. I mean, we can pop it off like that. We can kind of go from there too. Like, Steve, I didn't know I was going to spend this much money, man. I knew I was going to spend money, but I didn't know.
I told Stamps to stay sapient out here in these streets.
I can't even afford to get Sapiens help right now.
Hey, man.
I can't pay that monthly fee.
Hey, man, hey, I'm affordable. Okay, you can work something out. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
yeah, I need that 10% discount or something. But no, man, I just think it's an eye opener. Like, I'm still super excited, but I definitely, we were just talking about this our last episode, how I said you need to go ahead and put away like 500 at least, 500 to 530. And then I just had to come out of pocket another $400 and something. I was like, okay, you might as well be 1,000. You put you $1,000 away if you want to get into real estate.
Right,
what do you think
Absolutely.
about this?
I completely agree. It's one of those things, like, you got to look at it like you're really starting up your business. So you're definitely putting money into yourself. Like, all those fees that come along, you got your MLS fees, you got your centralized fees or whatever it is where where the listeners live at. I know Chattanooga's like Supra and stuff like that, but you have these fees, then you have your monthly fees. Really, it's the startup that really get you. Once you get past the startup, it kind of tends to slow down. But you get that first sale, you get all your money back. It's definitely an investment. It's definitely a risk take because there's some people, they put their money in, man, and they ain't sold nothing in 2 years. Whereas there's some people that get out on that grind and put that money in, they get it back within the first couple months. You know what I'm saying? So
I know I heard a story. There was one guy that told me, and I've had a couple of different conversations with people. One guy told me, within the year, he was like, one dude said, "Hey man, you need to go ahead and chop it up charge it to the game the first 2 years. Those are just learning." And I was looking at him like, "Oh no, I got to get something before that." I said, "Nah, I ain't got that long to learn." When he said it, I kind of clutched my chest when he said, "2 years."
It's a grind with any business, though. You know what I'm saying?
Really is.
For real. Like, just with my situation. I mean, Stamps, me and you talked about it on the podcast, but I spent a few $1,000s just try and start up Sapiens. And
I know
I am in this for the long haul. Like, I can expect my first 2 to 3 years really taking losses. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Financially. Now, I mean, I'm starting to see the uptick in clients now, finally. But I mean, think about it. It's been it'll be a year in August. You know what I mean? And I'm just now starting to see clients after all of this stuff that I've done as far as marketing, putting money into the business, all of that. Like, it's a slow grind, and you got to be prepared to. You'll hear a lot of business owners say, "Hey, man, I took a L for 5 years until I started really moving or started really seeing something." But it's all about patience and perseverance through all of that. You know what I'm saying? and that's why it ain't really, everybody think that they can step out here and be some type of business owner or make their own money. And really, you got to have the discipline for it, and you got to have the mind frame for it, because it's tough. It is tough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I can't do nothing but agree with that. Because, I kind of had to cheat, though, because my wife been in it.
I was gonna ask you that, Steve. Let's get into this for a second. So I look at you, and I kind of look at you and your wife is like, you guys are kind of like the role models for me right now. So I peep with y'all, and I was like, okay, so I need to figure out how to do this, and this. Like, I just watched from afar, like, okay, he doing it. So, like, did it help you having somebody like you, being your wife, being right there, being able to be like, all right, babe, do this and not this. Like, look at this stuff. Don't really pay attention to that. Like, and kind of tell you where to focus your mind on. Like, did that help at all? It's kind of like I guess you had like somebody right there that you could shadow in a sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And my wife has been in for like 3 years now, so technically I've been shadowing for 3 years. I've been all around it. So all I'll do is hear it. Even with her, she has a mentor as well.
Okay.
And with her being in the house, it helps. So I told her, I was like, it's kind of like a cheat code for me. But one day we were talking about it, and she was like, actually, it's not a cheat code, because, she has some folks under her as mentees, and really it's just, you putting in the work. Mm-hmm. Like, I was doing stuff that, some of theirs, some of her mentees were not doing. Like, it's all in the follow-up, actually getting out there, talking to people, which I was willing to do. So it was some people, I remember they talk about buying a house. So I called them up. Hey, I got my license. We ready to go. Or even before, I was like, man, I'm finna get my license. We're going to go in and do this, yada, yada, yada. And then, what ends up, and then, when I got my license, I followed up with them, and they was like, yeah. And they was there waiting. So I kind of had that set up. And she was like, what you was willing to do was put in the work and actually, give that follow through. It's all in the follow up,
Yeah.
So that people remember. And then also having her here where I can learn and being close to that person, it helps out. But, it really depends, because sometimes, can everybody work with their wife? You know what I'm saying? But in some instances,
that's a fact.
That's real fact.
Hey,
so,
man, I fired my wife a lot of times. I fired her just last week, man.
And I think mine has fired me a couple of times. So she just walk off like I ask a question. She's like, look,
just out.
Just go away. That's what she tells. Just go away. Just go away.
Man.
But no, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, and she saw me put the work in, so she saw them nights while I was studying and do this and do that. And we put the plan together, what we needed to do in order to get to what we want and starting this as our business. So, before I left my job, we already had a plan. And then when I finally got to that point where I was like, man, it's just time to go. We knew what we needed for bills for at least, the next 2 to 3 months. And I had that. And then it was like, all right, let's pull it out. Let's go for it. And, we went forward. And right now, I'm going on almost 5 months of not being in the corporate world. And, actually, and this, I guess this is a humble brag, but, just me putting in the work, I'm saying? I may close, I'm on track to close at least 8 deals this year.
Look at
my first year,
so
it's about putting the work in, you know what I'm saying? But, going back to the question, it does help because she's in-house and I get to watch her do her thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's ball.
Hey, it's a little bit of a money. Hey, I still got a lot to learn, though.
No, man, but I let me just go ahead and put this out here, man. I appreciate you because I do watch you from afar and just kind of like admire what you're doing, but it motivates me. So I see what you're doing. I'm like, see what you and your wife are doing. I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track then. Seeing people that I know that are successful in doing it, it keeps me thinking like, okay, I can do this. Let me just get my head down and grind it out. And I'll see the reap the rewards, reap the benefits. So that's why I was just asking, man, because like it definitely at first, like I'm in that first stage and it's a lot of information. So it's just like you get everything coming from which way, and it's like, dang, this is overwhelming. But then I see that there are people that are successful like yourself, you and your wife. And I'm like, okay, so it can be done. I just have to get my mind out of the everything is overwhelming and take, one thing at a time and then just go for it. So,
organizing, man. Put it all in, put it all in perspective the way you understand it.
Yeah.
And then organize and, strategize and go for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much, kind of how we approach it. And like kind of going back to the one guy that told you, like chalk up your first 2 years. Like, I take that with a grain of salt because your year is gonna be different from his. Like
right
we don't know what. Yeah,
you right about that.
We don't know what he did in his first 2 years. He could have been, straight up BSing. Whereas you get on your grind, you call the people and all in your phone, and you get just so happen you get deals for the for the year more than he got. And I look at.
I think it's a mental. I think it's a mental thing. I didn't mean to cut you off either. I think it's a mental thing, man. Like because I already see I'm at a loss. So right now being at a loss, I'm like, all right, I need to recoup. So how long is it going to take me to recoup? Let me figure out who I need to talk to. I got the spreadsheet thing down. Like I'm doing that in the process of doing that, writing everybody I know and send out emails, and start doing that process. And like, okay, I need to recoup this. I'm right here. I'm at a loss right now. I'm 1,500 in the hole, just the number, 1,500 in the hole. So how am I going to get this back in the positive? So that's the way my mind works. So it's like, okay, I need to get this. I look at it, I don't have 2 years. So
exactly.
I put pressure on me. I'm like, I ain't got 2 years.
Exactly.
I ain't got 2 years.
Yeah, I removed my safety net. I ain't got no. Yeah, this got to work. This got to work.
My wife look at me like, everything going all right?
And what? That's what's so important, man. That support system.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you ain't got that, man, you gonna crumble. Yeah. You gotta have that foundation, that support system. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
What Tommy, you still holding it down over there, man? Like how are you doing it with all this stuff right here, man? You got the little magic setup right there, man. So I know whatever endeavors you do, I know you in the finances over there too. So are you your entrepreneurial spirit jumping off right now? What you getting into, man?
Bro, I like for me, it's always how can I do this? Because like I'm glad we had this. We decided to talk about this whole little topic because I got a few questions for y'all. But for me, it was like I never thought about being an entrepreneur or even thought of what an entrepreneur was, like the real definition of an entrepreneur. I always believed in you get a job, you make your money that way. You know what I'm saying? So, man, shoot, for me now, it's like I think of something and write it down and I try to go get it. Now, I'm not interested in real estate, but my thing is I need a realtor. I tried to encourage my wife to be like, hey, man, go and get your real estate license, so we can do something with that. Just because I look at it as a team thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in school now for accounting. I'll be done in August. One more class. Thank God. And then I had to, I'm going to sit for the CPA exam, try to get I'm going to get my license there.
That boy smart. That boy smart.
Oh yeah, like so. Get that up. And open up the firm or whatnot. But the whole thing for me was you build a team of people that you can use. Like people can use me, I can use people. And we work together on going to the same goals that we're trying to accomplish. I take for example. I always talk about this, but our podcast, the Speaker Geekers podcast, it all bloomed from another podcast I had with a friend and my podcast I got with my wife. And, me and Steve talked to each other and here we are now today, Speaker Geekers podcast. It's just what else can come from it? You know what I'm saying? Like what else can we do? How else can we market ourselves to bring some type of income into the household? Because the way I think of everything is my child is looking at me. She needs to know how to fend for herself when she has nothing, like nobody's in their corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, let me show her how to hustle. Mm-hmm. You know, like basically legally hustle. Mm-hmm. And you know, we do it that way. So yeah, that's my thing.
That's dope. No,
hopefully
that's dope,
that answers the question.
No, that does. No, I understand that, man. Like I think that's dope because, like, I mean, that's kind of how me and Jay started the Halfway Humble. I wanted to have some type of outlet to where I could, you know, basically almost like a therapy session, you know, to get me through the week. Like, because I don't know how it is for y'all, but when we do the podcast as well, we do the Halfway Humble podcast. It's like I feel like something like being able to release something, and I think that like that was the whole point. I wanted to have a platform to where I could talk to my buddy and we could talk about our stuff that we talk about anyway. It's just now that it's being recorded, and then talk to other people that are like-minded and have the same are goal-oriented and want to do different things and uplift each other and their platform. So, I mean, I think it's dope, man. And I got my brother to get out of his shell because he's got so much information to give too. You know, as we can see, he's down there smiling a little bit. I see you smiling, dog. But anyway. But I think that's I got to bring my brother on and get to let him display his personality that a lot of people don't get to see because he's more of an introvert. And so I see it, but a lot of people don't get to see it that aren't close to him. So it's fun to see him kind of get out of his shell more too. And, you know, we're able to just talk and clown and be informational, but do a whole bunch of different stuff. And I think it's good to have these platforms because you can use this as an offshoot to do other things. So
definitely,
you know, what you think, Jack?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's definitely helped me come out of my shell and just kind of give my thoughts and opinions on stuff that, like you said, me and Stamps talk about every day. You know what I mean? And, you know, the other thing about it is helped me transition a little bit easier back into the workplace. It's funny because throughout most of my career, I've always been placed in kind of extroverted roles. Like I've been in leadership for a long time. And even now, you know, like with this new job, people are looking at me for leadership just because I think because of the experience that I have on my resume and all of that. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard my name called in just a short month of being at this new job. You know what I mean? Well, Jay, why don't you do this? Or, hey, Jay, what do you think about this? Or, you know what I mean? I'm just like, yo, like, can y'all chill, please? You know what I mean? But it's I think it's giving me the I won't say confidence, but I guess it's made me more assertive and proactive about certain things and just learning how to really not. I guess, you know, I never really cared about kind of what people thought, but it's just taking it to that next level. You know what I mean? Just not being as nervous to speak up. I won't say afraid, but like just as nervous to speak up just because you knew and you're not really confident as far as what you may be talking about just yet. You know what I mean? Because you still learning the business and all of that. But no, it's been it's been a hell of an experience. And then, you know, of course, I got the business of Sapience, which is a personal budget and credit consulting business that I started. So it's a good way for me to market that and speak on stuff that I'm really passionate about, which is finances and how much I think that how important I think credit is nowadays. So
yeah. And man, if y'all ain't been through his Instagram stories, y'all missing out, man. Y'all missing some gems, man.
Hey, I don't even I appreciate that. I don't even be paying attention to who really reads the stuff or whatever. Like this, that stuff is really just my random thoughts. Like I'll wake up with certain things on my mind, and I got to make sure that I get them out before I lose it, because my mind thought wise is I'm always running. It's always running 1,000,000 miles a minute. So I gotta try to capture everything that I can to where it makes sense, and just put it out there and hope somebody receive it.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I be paying attention. Like when I post the real estate stuff or the podcast stuff, I be looking through, because I be interested to have people, like, I'm always about the journey. And I've told Tommy this plenty of times. I'm sure I told Stamps and Jay this too. Man, the journey is probably the most important part, because you see, you know what I'm saying, where you come from point A to point B. Man, and it's so amazing to see what you end up doing. And sometimes it's people watching you that you don't like. I don't have a clue how they got to my stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I be having people. I ain't mean to cut you off, Steve, but
you good?
No, I be having people hit me up or whatever. Like, somebody told me I should be in marketing. I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, just off of the stories. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I think people can identify with it, because I'm just being myself. Like I'm not trying to be nobody else. I'm not trying to put somebody else's spin on it. Like, these is just my raw thoughts about how I view spending, and how I view, like, how credit should really be working for people, and how I think that, you know, most people aren't knowledgeable because they weren't taught certain things. I mean, we go to school to learn to be employees, not business owners, not good with our money, not good with anything really. We just taught how to work for somebody else the rest of our lives, and you know, it starts there. Like, we got to get out of that mindset. So, no, it's just a really raw take on how I feel about stuff financially and credit wise, and of course the Conquer Your Debt page is a little bit more professional, of course, but my personal page is where I'm able to get all of my ish off. You know what I mean? Like, just talking, you know, just straight up raw how I really feel about it. And like, a lot of times, like, I don't really care who I offend. Like, the truth is the truth. I mean,
Hey, I think it's because it's relatable though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the stuff that you're saying is relatable. Like, you're not talking at people or over people. You're talking to them, and that's important. Right. You know, so I could see why somebody would say, yeah, you need to be in marketing, because that's how you market. You make sure people can understand what you're saying, and that you're talking to them, and that you are relatable. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that plays a part in it. And that's what Steve was saying too. Like, the journey is what interests me, because like, I'm behind, you know, I want to be where he's at you know, within the next 6 months. I want to be at least at a level where I'm starting to earn income through real estate. So I look at what he's doing. I'm like, okay, you know, I don't necessarily need to see every intricate part of what he's doing, or blow him up 24/7 to be like, hey Steve. Now I might end up doing that, but I'm saying, but I enjoy seeing him market his stuff, and him and his wife. And I'm like, ooh, that's dope. How can I incorporate that into what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like, okay, cool. And I think that's dope. Like, every time I see something with his stuff, I try to make sure I like it and show love, because I'm like, no, that's dope. I want him to see, like, somebody's watching you. Like, that's dope. I see that, and that's something. What's where I want to attain. So I applaud you. And the same thing with Tommy and Jay. Now that I know, I know what you're doing now, Tommy, and then Jay, I see what you do. It's like, I'm going to take time to make sure I applaud that, because that's what I don't think we do enough of as brothers. Applaud each other when somebody's doing something.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You know,
absolutely. That brings a question to mind. Why do you think that you get little to no recognition when you start a business or something, compared to like when you just posting something? You know what I mean? Like, You know what I'm saying? Like, it's somebody.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Like you post a picture of yourself, you get 1,000 likes, right? You know what I mean? You post something on your business or whatever, you get 50 likes. You know what I mean?
Niggas don't trust it.
They don't.
Yeah, I mean,
it's that crab in a bucket thing. They try to pull you down.
And it's crazy because I mean,
that nigga think he better than me.
Yeah, it's wild to think about just because you got so many people coming down and saying, yeah, I mess with that. I'm gonna support you. This, that, and the other. And then you open your business and it's crickets. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, like, say the lip service, man. Like, if you're going to do it, if you're going to rock with it. But, like, if not, it's kind of like, it's crazy to me because you don't see that. Like, that's just across the board. Like, that happens to everybody that starts a business, right? And it is not, it's not until you really pop or some celebrity or somebody co-signs you or somebody of some type of notoriety co-signs you to where everybody starts flocking to you like, yo, I always wanted to work with you. When can you pencil me in? I'm like, yo, I've been here for 3 years. You've been reading my stuff for 3 years. Like, where you been at? You know what I mean? Like, you it's kind of annoying because it's just like, so it's kind of like that music, like it's kind of like music, right? Where you gotta, like, a lot of people won't go find the music themselves. They will wait for somebody else to tell you, hey, this person's hot. You need to go listen to him. You know what I mean? They'll wait till everybody.
Wait for that cosign.
Yeah, so it's just like it's the trend because everybody's on this person now. Oh yeah, I mess with this person, this, that. Well, it's not like you found that out for yourself. Like, you had to listen to 85 people tell you that this person was hot before you actually went and listened to them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Word of mouth, man. Word of mouth is still the most powerful form of
it is.
Marketing.
It is. I mean, I'm seeing that. It, of course, the people who I guess most of my clients right now are they're complete strangers. Like, didn't know them, right? And then, like, I work with one client, working with her, brought her credit score up in less than 2 months, right? I mean, literally from the 500s to now she's like she's in the 600s now. And her real goal was really to only be at 650. I'm like, nah, we gonna get you higher than that. You know what I mean? We gonna get you the best rates on everything or whatever. But like she saw the results. She told her daughter and some other people in her family or whatever. And I got clients because of that. So that
word of mouth.
It's still powerful. It's still super powerful.
Yeah.
I got a true example of the very thing that you was talking about.
Hold on. Before we leave off the credit part, because I got to put this in for all the listeners, man. Hey, that right there, what Jay just said, is something that's very powerful. Like, when it goes to real estate, there's a lot of programs where, all right, you get, with a lot of down payment assistance, and hey, if you have just this credit score, this minimum, we can get you in there. Like, at this current moment, man, you got to be striving for more because we don't know when those programs will go away. And also, like, as a community, you know what I'm saying, we need to start building ourselves so far up to the point that we don't need those programs. There's people out here, believe it or not, people out here who got 10,000. They going in there, they paying their closing costs. They paying their down payment. They paying 30,000 on the house, and then buying it. They going the best loan. They going conventional. They doing
15-year loans instead of 30-year loans and paying off their house. Like,
absolutely, like, all this is obtainable. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all haven't, like, figured it out by now, like, the four brothers here on this podcast right now, you talking to people who are real estate agents dabbling in the real estate. And you got one brother, he is an accountant, so he knows about budgeting. And then you got the other one the other brother who is all about the credit, so he knows how to build that credit. Like, that's it.
Yeah. And we about to mess around and build something ourselves since y'all playing.
Yeah. I don't think y'all understand was. Right. Hey, I don't think you understand.
Tell him about it, Jay.
Shut up, Staples.
Get this money too. Get this money, man.
Hey, man, absolutely. So, man, it's all about that. Like, all this stuff can be attainable. Like, and I talk to Tommy all the time. When me and Tommy talk, just this past weekend, we talked, and we was talking about, man, one of his struggles. Not to put my brother on Front Street, but one of his struggles was he was like, how do I turn this into monetary? And I told him like kind of how I done figured it out is like, we don't worry about the money. You chase the ambition, you chase the hustle, and it'll turn into money. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people out here, like, if you got a dream, like you want to be a homeowner, like start chasing that. Like it may take you a year. Yeah. But guess what? Yeah. We just talked about the journey at the end of the year. You're a homeowner in your home because you took those steps. Mm-hmm. You got your credit straight. You learned how to budget. You reached out to a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling, like right now, man, we giving it to you. And one thing about real estate and property, man, there's two ways a lot of people get rich out here in the streets. And people won't tell you this, but it's either life insurance or real estate.
Right.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? You either gonna sell some land or turn your land into your biggest investment and rent it out, or somebody gonna pass away and leave you a chunk of money.
Yeah.
It's either way. And then, there's other ways to get it, but that's the other, that's the other hustle. But the two biggest ways a lot of people, become wealthy is those two things. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Because they ain't making no more land. They ain't making no more land.
Not. And all we do is resell it. Resell it. God ain't making no more land out here in these streets. Mm-mm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just the other day, we was able to help a lady, get out from up under what, pretty much was an upside down mortgage. And that's what, and at the end of it, me and my wife, I was like, that's the moments that we want. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because now she's gonna be able to take her profits and pay for some cash, bro. Mm-hmm. Do you not like listen to what I just said? You know what I'm saying? Like how easy something could, boom, it can happen for you.
Right.
It can happen for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So
it starts
what I was gonna say now.
Steven hijacked that man's segment, man.
Yeah, hijacked it.
I'm sorry, man.
Bro, you stop real quick.
I had to give it to him, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
he's like, hey, hold on, time. I feel you. But hold on though.
He's like, hold on, baby. I got to shut up for a second. I got to
What Kanye do? He came on stage. Hey, who is it? What was her name?
Taylor Swift. He's like, I'm gonna let you finish, man. But
yo, we gonna let you finish. But your album was good. Well, Beyonce had the greatest album of the year.
So now, Tommy, I think you was talking about you was talking about something along the lines of what I said as far as you were going to go into the accounting side of it. I'm just trying to jog your memory.
Yeah, that ain't help.
My bad. I tried.
I think it was more so of like when I first started like 3M Media. It started from a gaming thing. Like I was into gaming and created like a top 10 and all this stuff and was just asking for support. I told my homeboy the other day, I was like, man, my biggest issue, and I think a big issue with the community is we don't know how to ask for help. We don't know how to ask for help, and we don't know how to give help. You know what I'm saying? Because with that whole, it was Provision Gaming, if you guys want to go on YouTube and check it out. But with that whole little thing, I was like, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to build a gaming team. We're going to compete and all this stuff. And I'm playing the game 42 hours out the week. You know what I'm saying? With a gang of people. So I'm like, yeah, this would be simple to do. All of us get together, we just play the game. And against people, we get better and better. But nobody supported it. Nobody supported it the way I wanted them to support it. And like I told my homeboy, I was like, I didn't know how to ask for that support or ask for what I needed. I just expected everybody to know, hey man, share this video, talk about this video, participate, send me this, do that. And I think that's where a lot of times we mess up. That's where that crab in the bucket mentality comes from. Somebody thinking they better than them or something like that. Yeah. It's because we don't know how to give help. We also don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah, but did you? I guess my question to you is: did you? With that being said, did you know exactly what you wanted at the time? Like how to? Yeah, I know you wanted your stuff shared, right? But did you know how to communicate that, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was the thing that I struggled with. Okay, it'd be like, my thing is, you see what I'm doing. Yeah, you're actually like, people would send me the stuff, but never would share a video, never would like, never would comment, and I never thought to ask, hey man, write a comment on it. Yeah. Share the video out. Yeah. Because it's like common sense to me, that's something I would do. Yeah. That's simple. Mm-hmm. That's the really simple thing to do. And you looking at the people that you playing with, you looking at the people that's looking at it, and you like, you ain't said nothing about the video. Yeah. I don't put in all this work. Like it's hard work making a video.
It really is. Hey, yo, like I messed around and got into video editing, and you see the little stuff that I do for like Sapiens and the Halfway Humble podcast and stuff like that. Hey, that's to get a 15. You know what I'm talking about, Tommy. To get a 15-second clip, that's about an hour.
You sitting there, right? You sitting there.
That's about an hour.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Checks in the mail, by the way, man. I got
shut
you
up.
On the Halfway Humble.
Hey, I need some of that second stimulus when it comes. You know what I mean? But
you and me both.
Yeah, but that's a grind in itself. Like, and then then you realize that, like, so the laptop that I got is pretty decent, right? But it's for like regular stuff, and then you start to realize, yo, I need a whole different setup for this video editing thing. I mean, not only does it take a lot of space, but it's when you taking a video and then you trying to upload it to YouTube or convert it to where it's YouTube friendly. Yo, that's a like it might take a half hour to convert. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's crazy. So now I definitely feel your pain there. It was something else that I was going to say along those lines. Oh, so it was something that I heard or read somewhere that was pretty decent, right? So like, as far as people that you would expect to kind of support your vision and your business and all of that, even if you got them helping you, right? Right. You can't, I guess you can't get really emotionally tied to the fact that they're not supporting, because a lot of times it's just not they may be helping you out or whatever to some degree, but they're not your target audience. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you're catering to your target audience. So the same people that maybe, I mean, it's kind of like me back in the day. Like I still do music from time to time, but when I was really going hard and like actually trying to put out projects and songs and like little mixtapes here and there, stuff like that, I expected a lot of people to share that, and they did from time to time, but not as much as I thought that they would, just because they were a fan of the music. And then a lot of people just don't think to do it. Like, I mean, think about how many times you scroll and you may see something that's dope or whatever, but you don't think to like or retweet it or whatever the case may be. So it's just like, yo, you really got to find who your target audience is, and if when you find a real fan, like they would do anything. Like, I mean, as soon as you pop up on the timeline, they sharing it, yo, and it not even be nobody that but like for whatever reason, your material or your content resonates with them. And so you ain't even got to tell them to do nothing. They just going to go share. You know what I mean? Right. So you got to find like 100 of them to get that word out or whatever. So it's not necessarily all about your friends or whatever, because they just it's nothing personal. It's just they probably on a different wavelength.
Right. And that's what it was, you know. Yeah. And I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah. I'm still
why
learning.
We could have had this conversation 4 years ago.
yeah. But it go back to what you were saying, like, you know, communication, and you know, you don't necessarily know how to have that conversation or really what to say, because it's like, especially for me, like I have a lot of stuff in my head, and then sometimes like I don't know how to communicate it, because it's like I know what I want to say, but if I say it, it may not come out, or I may not be able to convey it the way that I'm thinking about it in my head a lot of times. Yeah. So you run into that a lot too. But I think with over time, with the right communication, or at least you trying to convey what you mean, it gets better with time, right? Just like anything else.
Yeah. For sure.
Yep.
And I think one of the secrets to success with all of that is to knowing that you can fail and it's okay. Like, because those are lessons. You know, they're not really failures. It's just you learn. You know, you learn something else. It's a learning tool. So it's okay to fail. Like I've learned that, because trust me, I'd have failed a lot of different stuff, and I've been like, man, like why could I do this better? And I'm like, well, and I know what I'm better at, and it makes you more self-aware. Yeah. So I think that is the key to a lot of this stuff, is being self-aware of things that you do well, things you don't do well. Mm-hmm. And then knowing how to move with that, and knowing how to delegate things if you don't move well. Like, how can I get better at this? Who can I go to sharpen this area up for me, because I know I'm not good at that. Like, for example, the production thing, as far as the editing and stuff. Now, I'm sure I can learn some of that stuff in time, but Jay is probably naturally.
You about to learn.
You gonna learn today.
Well, COVID-19 got me in my house, so I can't learn that right now.
Man, we can practice some social distancing or whatever. This is what Zoom is for. I can share my screen.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, look, I'm all down for that when I come back from vacation. But don't try to give me that right now.
I'll meet you there, man. Just like, hey, open your laptop real quick. I gotta show you some things.
Hey. Yeah, but that's that type of stuff. Like, I know Jay can show me, and then I'll get better at that. But I know initially, like, you know, certain things that I know he does better at. So I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. Like, it's cool. So I can do that. Just like if we go into a room, let's say we're pitching the podcast to a group of people, like, and that we want to come aboard with. Now,
that's all stands.
Now he's eloquent. He can speak. He can talk as well as anybody I know, and he knows how to talk. He's very knowledgeable and all that. But I know that that's a strength of mine. Like, I know I can come and pitch it and be articulate, be engaging, and that's going to work. We're going to get it. But those are things like being self-aware and knowing that, like you were saying, Tommy, knowing how to ask for help, knowing what to ask for, and then how to move once you get that information. Like, those things are important. So, those are, that's living and learning, man. Because, trust me, I done felt a lot of stuff.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Haven't we all?
It took a lot of L's out here.
I'm still taking L's.
Yeah.
I know that may be a book one day. I may write a book on that, knowing how to fail.
Hey, man, it's an art.
Hey, it's an art. Maybe a book right there. So,
it's all about changing that mind frame, though.
Yeah,
because when you figure out that your failure ain't nothing but lessons, you won't mind failing anymore, because you're gonna learn something. You're gonna get better later. So, man,
and because you learn more from that. You learn more from that. If you winning all the time, you ain't gonna learn from that, because you just winning. It's like what are you gonna learn?
You lose, you don't know how to get back up.
Right.
Hey. What Tyson say? Tyson say? Everybody ready for the fight until they
punched in the mouth.
Absolutely.
Everybody got a plan. Everybody got their plan.
Till you run up on somebody who hit harder, move quickly. a little smaller, know how to adjust to you.
Oh man,
exactly. There's always somebody out there. I was just telling my son that the other day because he was upset. He was like really upset because we had played other games and he like the UFC joint he beat me in, and then we got the 2K20 NBA and Madden, and he was just like, Dad, you tear me up. Like he was like he was like really hurt about it. I said, well, you gotta understand, man, you gotta be able to be as good as you are being a winner, you gotta be a good loser too. Mm-hmm. You gotta understand that you're not gonna win. It's gonna always be somebody better. I said, you beat me in games, what I do to you? He's like, you tell me respect and give me that. Yeah, because it's gonna be like that. I learned I can't win everything.
Tell Jordan ain't nothing sweet out here, B.
Oh man, he ready for you. He ready for you, God, Dad. He ready for you to come serve you up too. He told me to let you know that.
Man, that little boy gonna get stumped out, man.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, I think I think that learning and that's crazy because I think it took me to getting into my 30s to kind of understand it's the okay and the art of failure. Like it's okay. Like I think before I always was like, man, I got to get this right. If I get this wrong, what's gonna happen? Yeah. And not thinking that there are lessons that could be learned from this stuff. And that was the thing that kind of transitioned my thoughts into, using those things as motivators and lessons and all of that. So I think that was the shift for me. And then like even with real estate, betting on yourself, not just relying on a corporate company to make sure that you're okay. Like, taking a chance, investing in yourself, taking the time to get the knowledge to create a situation to where you can provide for yourself and not have to answer to a whole entity that can fire you because it's just cuts. Yeah, it's cuts. It's Tuesday, exactly. It's cuts. But that's another thing in the news today. I seen where they were laying, it was either 400 or 600 from General Motors laying off. And I was like, golly. Yeah. And it's just tough. Like, like how many people, like, those are people's lives, man. Right. Like, what I'm saying? Like we don't have no job for you. Adapt, adjust. It's like, you got people that's probably working at 10, 15, 5, whatever, but it put time in. And it's just like to have that snatched out from under you, that's not something that I ever want to happen and just be sitting there looking around like, what I'm gonna do now,
because that's all you knew. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I feel like it's so important. Because I mean, you got a lot of people that teach against having credit, right? And cash is king. Don't use credit. Credit is gone. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like in order to really, I guess, attack things from all sides, I think you got to have both in place, cash and credit. Your cash flow and your credit got to be strong. Got to be, because I mean, like, for the average person who wants to like have a home, some people don't, you got people that, you should rent, buying the house is dumb and blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe not in other people's minds. People may be ready. Yeah, people may be ready to settle down and live somewhere for 15, 30 years, and they can lock into an APR that they know, no matter how much rent goes up, my mortgage is staying the same at least. Right. You know what I'm saying? And exactly. I think that, multiple streams of income is going to be very important, especially going forward. You see, like Stamp said, like, been at a job 15, 20 years, and then it's like, hey, we downsizing. We gotta let you go. We love you. It's just business. Sorry. You know what I mean? Figure it out. Right.
Bye.
And I think that if you're not financially sound enough, like, so let's just take for example, like person A. Person A lives below their means. They've always lived below their means, right? And they lose their job, but they've been living it below their means and been saving the rest, right? So that doesn't affect them the same way it would person B who been living paycheck to paycheck and trying to figure out exactly what am I going to do now, because I cannot survive a month out here without any income. You know what I mean? And then that person probably doesn't have credit. You know what I mean? So they don't have that leverage to like, okay, I have credit I can leverage for a few months to get me over to where I can still pay all my bills and stuff like that until I get back on my feet and find a job or whatever. Like that's really what I be wanting people to use credit for in emergency type situations when they're trying to save and get back on their feet or whatever. Then later on, we could talk about strategies where you are actually leveraging like maybe your personal credit to create income for yourself, and it's more of an investment into yourself, using the credit to make money, right? But yeah, a lot of people are in those types of situations because they ain't know no better, So that's what I'm kind of passionate about, making sure that people understand. And Tommy, you could probably speak to this, like, because I know you getting you said your CPA and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So you know how a lot of people want to speak, like these financial advisors and stuff like that, especially when they're talking to us. They want to speak over your head, and you don't know what they talking about. So it's just like, okay, well, you the expert. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds good. You know what I mean? And you're not asking enough questions. You're not, and so I never wanted to, like, with my whole, I guess, quote unquote financial education, or I guess I won't even say financial education, just financial basics. I never wanted to do that. I just wanted to speak from a perspective of, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you, this is how it goes in the simplest way possible, because the credit game is confusing. The accounting game can be confusing. All of these big words and this jargon and this
confusing to me.
Yeah, all of this nomenclature that they use, you know what I'm saying, as far as
that was a big word, bro.
Right. That's what the college words.
Right. You know what I mean?
Write that down. You spell that.
all of these stupid. No, all of these things that they toss out or whatever just to sound smart. And they're really taking advantage of you again because you don't know enough to be dangerous in that arena. So you go to a financial advisor, you still getting worked. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what type of questions to ask. You don't really know what they mean. You just, this person's the expert. This person going to give you back. And it's just like, yo, you actually losing money.
And they gonna get their money too while they advise.
Yeah, exactly.
They gonna get their
that's what I'm saying.
For sure.
They gonna get their money.
That's what I'm saying. So I ain't never wanted to be in the space to actually be robbing people. It's just like, nah, you gonna pay me for my services, but understand that this is an investment of yourself, because after I'm done with you, I don't want you on my payroll no more. Like I want you to peace out. You know what I mean? Go teach your kids, go teach your family or whatever. If you feel like you can't do that for them, send them to me. You know what I mean? I'll teach them bases and then let them go and let them go be on their own or whatever. And they come out with a better peace of mind of, okay, I know how this APR thing works on loans now. I know how to strategically get out of debt if I need to take out a loan. I've budgeted out like my whole situation to where I know how fast I could pay this loan off if I really need to take it out, or I got savings over here, or I got a 5-year plan to get a house. and put 20% down on it by saving X amount of dollars. Like, that's the type of stuff that I'm all about, is just building that foundation. So
yeah. No, that's that's like pretty much it. Like the biggest thing, I use this analogy all the time. We don't plan for good things. We don't plan to buy a house. It's just always something that we stumble upon, And I tell, I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, we plan to rob a bank. You know what I'm saying? you map out to be successful in robbing a bank. You gonna map out what you got to do.
And a lot of times it'd be poor. It'd be a poor execution too.
Right? Like, awful,
terrible execution. Like, y'all ain't think to cut the cameras off first? Like, that might want to do that.
You're like, oh, my bad.
Right.
Like, my bad.
Oops. Right. But it's a plan. And so you take that same approach and put it towards something that you're trying to do. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. When I got into accounting, I got into it because of a conversation with a person when I was working at a bank. And they was like, I'm a CPA. This is what I do, boom, boom, boom. And I was trying to figure out, how do I get a skill? Where can I get a skill in finance? And accounting is completely different from finance, but it teaches me that skill that I was looking for. So it's like, okay, well, let me write down what I need to do, how to get this accounting degree, how to become a CPA, and let me go through the steps. So I set up a plan. Halfway through my program, I had to go back and take like a bridge program. So it was like undergrad classes. Halfway through it, I was like, I'm gonna apply to become a staff accountant. So once that came around, started applying to become a staff accountant, got a job. Now I'm working two things at one time, getting work experience, finishing school. So once I finish school, I can sit for the CPA exam, but I'm gonna study for it before I sit for it. But, it was a plan set in place. And that was the first time I ever seen anything I sat down to plan for work. And so now going forward, I do everything like that.
That's what you do now. Everything,
you know what I'm saying? So
it makes sense.
Like, I always be like, man, if you're gonna plan to rob a bank, plan to do something successful.
Yeah.
Like you like with your money, you got to plan for that too.
Yeah, you do. You gotta do something with it. You know what I mean? Like, and see, that's the thing too. Like, giving people the foundation. Like, in my whole thing, especially with the budget part, because I feel like the budget is the root of everything else, right? If you have a budget, you won't F your credit up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because to pay everybody on time. You know what I mean?
Everything got a job.
And exactly. And you save, and you have your money working like a little factory, so you don't really have to worry about nothing, right? And so, it's like, once you get your budget up, and like, let's just say, like, all right, you got $10,000 in the bank in savings. You know what I mean?
Whew, I need that right there.
Yeah, like, let's just say you got that. Now you can think about, okay, I know moving, like, keeping this here, keeping 10,000 here is dead. So maybe I take 2,000-3,000 of that and move it into, like, maybe a money market account, or maybe a IRA, or maybe stocks. You know what I mean? So this is the way, like, I get you thinking about stuff like that. Now I can't tell you, like, I ain't gonna be no CPA. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I can't. I'm not gonna be able to legally tell you what to do, what you should do with your money or whatever. But it gets your, the whole Sapiens thing gets your wheels spinning to, like, okay, now I got this foundation. So now that I know how to, now that I have this foundation, I can build onto that by doing these other things. Now that I understand how this whole thing really is supposed to work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel that's a lot of sense being made, man. I mean, A lot of dollars being made too. I need some of this credit and accounting CPA money. So I need to figure out how I can invest in y'all.
Hey, moving forward, we about to invest in each other since don't nobody else want to do nothing out here.
Right.
We got two real estate people and we got two finance people.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what we all we need right here. Forget everybody else, man. I'm tired of marketing to people that won't listen.
So y'all better get on the ground level right now.
Man, they ain't about to do nothing, man.
Because at some point we ain't gonna want to hear this. Hey. We ain't gonna want. They be like, hey, let's do business. I'll be like this. Let's do business.
Nah, you good. We tried to get at you 5 years ago, beloved.
I don't want to hear that.
Right.
Yep. I don't want to hear that. I'm like, I don't want to hear all that. So yeah, man. So I think we've hit a lot of good points on that, man. I guess I think we can kind of transition on to the second half of it, man. Y'all want to do that?
Yeah,
let's go, man.
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shoot it back to Steve and Tommy. This is y'all's portion, man. This is where you guys shine at, man. So go ahead and throw it out there. I'm gonna shut up.